This has been like a whirlwind of a couple weeks, months, year for you. How are you right now?
That is a very broad statement question. I am still on cloud nine, still pinching myself, still unbelievably proud. But there's lots to do. Everyone thinks, the final game ends and it's like, oh, season's over and we're done. It's like, wait, we gotta do updates to the building. We gotta design rings. We gotta have player meetings. We gotta close budgeting stuff. So still busy, but I'm excited eventually to be able to take a seat, take a deep breath, and just really take it all in on what we've done.
And so this was, your first year as a head coach here at UNC. You played and had one of the most decorated field hockey player in school history. You've won national championships before. Did it feel different as a coach to win?
Oh gosh, definitely. I thought we had it made celebrating out there as a player and, being on the field, having everyone rush to each other, holding the trophy, hugging each other, I thought it couldn't get better.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's something about watching it unfold. And for people you put so much time into and invest so much energy and love and care and everything, to see them being the ones celebrating, it completely exceeded what I thought was great. So two very different but familiar celebrations and feelings and emotions and everything. And I don't know which one's honestly better, because they are different in their own ways. But I take celebrating a national championship any day, but to do it as a coach with a really, really, really special group of players and staff, it was unbelievable.
And watching the final game, the championship game, it's not like it was an easy road.
Right.
Like, you tied in regulation, 2 overtimes, and then a sudden death shootout. Like,
Yeah.
what was the roller coaster of emotions like?
It was horrible. No, my heart was racing the entire time. And like you said, it's what better way could you draw it up than that for a national championship match? Number one versus number two on number one's home field. Like you said, tied at end of regulation, both overtime, sudden death shootout, standing room only with 3,200 people hanging out, watching a field hockey game, beautiful weather. It just was perfect. And Northwestern had their chances. We had our chances. It was stressful. But of course, I gotta put my calm face on and instill motivation and confidence in the team and everything. So that's my job, but definitely was a roller coaster, like you said. But I also think, it's cliche, but it makes it that much sweeter because this team, really earned it this year in a very different way. So they fought that entire game and the entire season. And at the end, to have celebrations like that with everybody around who cares so much about the team and us and everyone. But then also after a game like that, it made it sweeter.
And I know that you said that when you first took this position, that a Final Four appearance would be nice.
Yeah.
And you far exceeded that. So when did you realize that this team had what it took to be national champions?
Or I don't know if there was an exact moment. If you ask my parents this question, they would say they would probably have one for you, because I remember when we played Michigan opening night, it was the first time I was like, okay, wait, we can go far. Like, we have a chance, whatever. And then throughout the season, we had some losses. We had some games we didn't play great and things weren't clicking super well. But then our senior night versus Duke, our last regular season of the game, or season game of the season, we, played packed crowd, decided regular season champions, Duke UNC rivalry, one of those just big moments of the season. And the team rose to it. They completely embraced the pressure, embraced the, high stakes. And I don't know if it was then or maybe a couple games in, I don't know. They started really clicking and really connecting and peaking at the right time. And it was just about recreating it then after that game,
Mhm.
because we saw that intensity coupled with, we're always going to play a great game of hockey. Our skills are always going to be uh, some of the best, if not the best in the nation. We're going to outsmart teams. It's more for us. It was this season, that like fire and intensity and attitude with it. And we saw it that game. So from that point on, it was okay. You guys felt it. You put all of the pieces together in a game. Now let's just be able to sustain it the rest of the year and recreate it. So I don't know if I would say then, but there was definitely a shift
Mhm.
in the season after that game. But yeah, I think, we knew it. We knew that there was something special from the start. I don't know if anyone allowed ourselves to get too caught up in how special it was.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so just a year ago, you were on the team. You transitioned to being the head coach. What was that transition like? I know you've been pretty vocal about, new boundaries and creating making it easy for the team to understand this new role, but can you talk about what that transition was like for you?
Sure. Yeah, well, I was lucky in a sense where it wasn't like the first meeting, or all season long, I'm walking in like, hey guys, I'm Erin. This is how I do things. They were
Yeah.
very familiar with me, how I worked as a player, how I worked as a captain and everything. So, and I'm not someone, who's going to be different. I really, really, really firmly believe that a coach's job or any leader's job is to create that atmosphere of consistency and security. And yes, we are always going to set the tempo, drive the standard. We always want to improve and we're never going to be satisfied. But, transparency is so key,
Mhm.
especially in today's world and college athletics where we are right now. Communication is so underrated, respect and just instilling trust in the players. And yes, they trust the staff and the coaches. And trust me, every single day, every decision we make, we know that they are watching and interpreting it. But really allowing them, to have the sense of self-belief and self-confidence stemming from us of, you guys got this, you can do this, you have to work for it, and it's not going to just happen, but go after it. I think that helped all of us. So for me, yes, it helped in a way that I knew a lot about them and I knew how they responded to certain communication, and I knew who they were as people first rather than field hockey players and student athletes. But for me, it was really just being super honed in on the details of every decision and being
Mhm.
as transparent as possible with everything. They like to understand the why behind things. I think female athletes in general just like knowing the purpose. So,
Yeah.
that's an easy thing I can do on a day-to-day basis to gain their confidence and trust and security in us. I think it paid off, and I think they felt that from us. But yeah, lots of learning on my end for sure, and the whole staff's, but and that's the beauty of the profession. We'll continue to learn every single year, but I think that worked this year, so we'll take it into consideration next year for sure.
Two things I kind of want to tap into there. One being the only people that really understand what it is like to be a student athlete are other student athletes, right? To know what it takes to perform on the field, in the classroom, balance life, the stress that comes with just all of it. So
Right.
what was it from your experience as a student athlete that you held on to so closely as a coach, knowing uh or feeling that it was important, transparency or what have it
Sure.
that was important.
I'll go to two kind of answers for you. First one, I don't know if it's something that Carolina breeds or something Coach Shelton instilled in me and in us, or just the uniqueness of our program, but we care so much about our culture and the fact that we are doing things together. And it's never, no matter how good anyone is, no matter how successful or how many awards anybody receives, it's always for the person next to you. At least here, that's how we do things. I don't know where that started, but
Mhm.
it's a familiar mindset here at Carolina. And for me as a student athlete, to feel the power in that and then to be successful after one season, of doing everything for the person next to you, wanting to challenge your teammates, and then knowing that that's going to help you in return. Okay, we were successful because of it for a year and then another year. and then another year, and seeing that work. It's the same thing I will try to instill in them, and in the way we just do things on a daily basis of, okay, I want to learn myself. I'm not going to come in here and dictate and boss around. And yes, it's my job to manage, but I think the fact that we learned from each other, I learned from the staff, they learned from me, same thing with the players, every single practice, we're working to get each other better. I think that's something I'll take forever. And I think it's something you have to feel the power in to be a part of something that succeeds because of that, to really understand it. And then the other direction I would go in is the balance of setting these insanely high goals, but not being afraid of them. And I feel like obviously being a part of a group and leaning on each other is a big factor in why you don't feel, it doesn't feel as daunting. But also setting those, but not being afraid to work for them. And I think, we are successful as a program, and it's every year, oh, the bar's set for you guys to win a national championship. And oh, it's just gonna just happen, right? It's like, no, we have to work every day. And I think how hard this team worked this season, how hard we've worked as a program over the last, however many years, it's not talked about enough how diligent these guys are, and how yes, we have those goals set, but we simplify everything for how can we get better today? What am I doing off the field that's going to help me on the field? What conversations am I having? What mindset am I carrying into the classroom to, just be a consistent, driven individual? So, set those goals, chase after them, but also you have to embrace the process and love the process and fall just completely obsessed with it and enjoy all of the work that's going to go into it.
That's the key. Like, that's the secret sauce, right? Is enjoying the process, because the national championships, they come and they go, but what you remember, and I'm sure for you, is what you're going to remember from the season is, of course, that moment, but all of the moments leading up to it.
Right.
As well. And so something you mentioned there is learning, constantly growing, that growth mindset. Now, you have to have that as an athlete, you have to have that as a coach. What did you learn this season that was very unexpected?
Oh, okay. There we go. I was going to say, I learned a lot.
Yeah.
That was very unexpected. I mean, the obvious answer, which will not be my actual answer, is all of the behind the scenes stuff. And I think it's, that's the expected answer of, okay, yes, I learned budgeting. I learned scheduling, what it means to go into planning an away weekend. All of the behind the scenes people that make it so the student athletes can just go out there and play. And that's when, you have a well-oiled machine, when it's going smoothly. So the girls, show up to practice and they're like, oh, great, practice plan's made, field's already watered, I can just play and have fun and, go into flow state, turn my mind off. So my eyes were opened as a student athlete, just because of the support Carolina provides in every aspect. But then, yeah, taking this position, world exploded with how many people care and how many people help. I think maybe not an unexpected answer, but we kind of touched on it, but the power behind communication and how it affects everything, like the ability to communicate directly, clearly, in the right tone or in the right way, depending on a situation. And there's no formula or equation, and no one's ever perfect at it, but it helped us so much this season. Like, I love being organized. I love working efficiently. How can we communicate in the most efficient way so that we eliminate unnecessary stress day to day, make it so the girls can just show up and play? Everything that helped us in the office stems back to that communication side of it. Everything the players feel, just the way they responded to just being listened to really opened my eyes. And I knew, like, everyone likes to be valued. Everybody likes to feel acceptance and a sense of belonging, and like their voice matters. Everyone knows that, but not everyone, I think, really appreciates how much work goes into cultivating that. And, we are wrapping up our individual meetings this week, and we have a lot of feedback from the players of just how grateful they were to have had a voice and to be listened to. And whether it's hockey and, helping them with a skill, or sitting down and saying, hey, let's watch video together, doing everything we can hockey wise, but also, let's just talk about your family. Let's talk about life. Where are you at? How are your
Mhm,
exams? Are you stressed out? Like, how can I help?
mhm,
I think in today's world, it's just a huge piece of the puzzle that's either gonna really help an organization, or it's gonna be super detrimental. So
mhm.
for us to, have that feedback from them of how powerful, and how much it meant to them that they felt listened to, um, that opened my eyes a lot.
Well, it's so important because there's so many elements that impact the way that you play, right? Like if something's
Right,
going on off the field, you may not be able to show up. And so being able to
right.
have someone like you to communicate with is
Yeah.
hugely important. So you've talked about this culture that has been cultivated, that you're continuing to cultivate at Carolina. Um, why Chapel Hill? Like, why did you like this has been you're like synonymous now
Yeah.
with UNC, but like why did you make that decision
Yeah.
to go there?
I mean, I met Karen Shelton when I was 9 years old. So whether it was like subconscious, I don't know,
Mhm.
her magic, what she did, it worked. Um, but I just really, yeah, I fell in love with this place at a young age, and that never wavered.
Mhm.
And then to be a part of it. And like, yes, girls dream of, and they follow our players on Instagram. And, I can't believe maybe I'll be a Tar Heel one day. But then you get here and it's like, oh, I had no idea. Like I thought it was great. And then just like you said, the culture that's here is different. And again, I don't know where it started. I don't know who it
Mhm.
started with. It's bigger than any of us, but um I fell in love with it because when you come here, whether it's in the classroom, in the community, coaches, administratively, you are surrounded by people who are driven. You are surrounded by people who want to get better and who want to be the best at whatever it is they want to do. And that just creates this insanely competitive, but insanely healthy atmosphere of people who are chasing excellence every single day,
Mhm.
challenged by other people who are doing the same thing. I loved it. I think there's a sense of belonging and family here, which if you can't tell, I care deeply about. So, with just everyone working so hard together, but then at the end of the day, it's like you know, we want winners. We produce winners, whether it's on the court, on the field, in the classroom, it doesn't matter.
Mhm.
People are driven here, but they do it with the people around them. So, I fell in love with that, and it's just been quite the ride, and I'm lucky
Mhm.
and grateful that I don't need to go anywhere anytime soon.
And so, I mean, you mentioned meeting Karen when you were 9. You started playing when you were 6, and then you told your parents that you had the dream to play in the Olympics. Where does that dream stand right now?
Yeah, so I joke, and my athletic director and I, we laugh about it now because I'm like, if a rainbow appears and there's a unicorn jumping over it with this magical arrow pointing to go play, sure, so be it. But I always say the door's not closed, but it's not open. So
Mhm.
um, we'll see if it's there. It was one of the main discussions in my hiring process and
Yeah.
everything. And the main reason why I did what I did and I chose what I did, is because my heart just told me it was what's right. And I still jump out with them on the field and show them how it's done sometimes and still have a blast. And, I enjoy playing still, but I felt either way, if I was going to try to juggle both, either my play was going to suffer because I wasn't going
Mhm.
to be putting all of my energy there, or Carolina and this program was going to suffer because it wasn't getting my entire attention. So, um, I just at the end of the day, landed on what my heart said was right, and where I, thought deserved all of my energy. And
Mhm.
um here we are, it paid off. But we'll see someday, they give me my fix. And coaching, it fills that fulfillment kind of side of things, of just relaying information to the players and helping them discover, how great they are. So we'll see. Not cut out, but it's not on my radar per se.
Got it. Got it. Well, this has been such a fun conversation, and I'm so excited for you because I feel like it's like just starting. Like you've accomplished so much, but and like you look back and you're like, okay, most decorated athlete in the sport at UNC. You won your first year as a head coach. You're the youngest active D1 head coach. but it feels like there's so much more that's coming your way. And I'm very excited that the world is going to get to witness that. So I ask everyone this, I end every interview with it. On days that are hard, because we know days get hard, do you have a mantra that you lean on to get you through?
Ooh, I don't know if it's a mantra, but it's, I think, one, leaning on people, and that's not a surprising answer from me after everything we talked about. But it works. We have, sayings, 1 + 1 = 3. Everything you can do alone is not going to be as great as what you can do with somebody else next to you. So definitely leaning on people. And I think, if anything, it would be, you are meant to do hard things. You have done hard things before. You are capable of running after challenges and, setting unrealistic goals to some people, but tackling them and chasing them. And again, even goals you set and maybe don't reach, or, every day can't be a good day, but falling in love with that process and just reminding yourself that, it is just one day in a long, grand scheme of things. So we try to instill that in our girls, and the confidence there, and the ability, identify, okay, today stinks, today stinks,
Yes.
but I'm okay. I'm able to do hard things, and tomorrow's going to be better because today was not great. So, um, I don't know, just that's kind of my mindset, but it definitely helps when you have, your people to lean on and just rely on.
This like all comes full circle. It's like, if there's anything I've learned from this conversation, team and communication. And
Yeah.
if you have people that are able to lift you up in those hard moments, right? To say, I am having a hard day. And it
Right.
seems like you are cultivating that culture where you are. And that is incredible. So
Thank you.
I'm proud of you from afar, and I'm really excited for what the future holds. And congratulations. And I really hope that you're able to sit down even for an hour and soak in all that's happened.
Thank you. I know. Thanks again for just wanting to tell some of our story. We appreciate it. And we're just excited to put on a show for everybody. So we'll keep trying to do that.
I love it.